Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Set Up for Success. Set Up for Success, as you know, has been set up by myself, Tracy Answer, the host, and it has been created with our children in mind. My hope, my desire, my everything is for our children to succeed and to get the best out of their lives to reach their full potential. And we want to achieve this by equipping parents, by giving parents the information, the guidance they need to improve their parenting skills, to help them in their social and economical well-being. And what I'd like you to do after the show is to have a look at the YouTube channel, Set Up for Success by Tracy Answer, where you'll find a whole range of videos going from examination tips all the way to wills, property, all sorts of things that will help you on your parental journey. So tonight I have with me two wonderful ladies, people who I've known for years and years and years, and they're amazing and I love them. I've got Dr. Mercy in the house and Jackie Powell. So, Dr. Mercy, introduce yourself, please. Welcome and introduce yourself, please.
Oh, my goodness. Tracy, thank you so much for, inviting me and having me on your wonderful program. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. And like you said, I've known you for ages, and you're such a beautiful soul from ever since I met you up to now. It's just been lovely and good things to say about you. A lot of our teens remember you, Tracy, and every time we say Tracy Answer, they remember the specific time you came and you spoke to us on, entrepreneurship and a whole lot of other things, and money making, how to be in ministry and make the money. So you've been an amazing friend, and and it's been wonderful just knowing you. Yeah, so I am, my name is Tsitsi Mercy. Chiesa is my surname. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother. On top of all that, God has called me passionately to work alongside women who are from marginalized communities, women who've gone through the criminal justice system, girls who've been integrated back into the communities and have faced hardships. And also we do a whole lot of other things. I do mentorship, I do coaching. Honestly, I could spend a lot of time talking about the different things that we do. Go on our website. Because tonight really is not about our accolades or anything. It's about the Black girl. That's what I'm more excited about. So if you want to know more, www.equipforexcellence.com. Go there and find out a little bit more. And that's it.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Mercy. And then we have Jackie Powell in the house. Welcome, Jackie.
Hi.
And tell us about yourself. Just a little bit, because I know you do so much.
How Tracy got me on here, I don't know, but anyway, I'm here. Thank you, Tracy, for inviting me. It's always an honor, and I always say it's always an honor and a privilege to be sitting at the table to actually talk about some live issues. And well done, Tracy, for actually doing something like this. Is something that is needed, especially around our own community. So to know that you're doing this, it's really fantastic, and salute you to it. Well done. And everything. I too have known Tracy from since she was and since she was young at church. She's not so young like all of us now, but basically, she's always been very, very vibrant. She knows she's a go-getter. She knows what she wants. What she wants in life. And me and Tracy, we will go backwards and forwards, but you know what? There's true love that's there. So it's really great for you to invite me. Where can I start? Part of my journey, but majority of my journey has been in church, as Tracy knows. I've grown up in church with her, actually taught her, was also part of a women's ministry, worked as a district youth director in the church, also one of the ministers of social responsibility, running after school club. I am a teacher lecturer by profession, and actually run a business after school clubs within Watford, Finchley, and within the Wilston area. And we're still opening up a lot of after school clubs as well. So that's been really, really instrumental. Outside of that, Tracy calls me the busy bee roadrunner. I also do a lot of volunteering work as well, working with community. I'm trustee for 2 organisations. One of them, we've pulled down £1 million lottery funding, and we're using that for the community. I'm also a governor for a school in Enfield as well. And, you know, I just work very closely with the community. My aim is to see our Black girls just really just prosper and just get the best out of life. And, you know, sometimes you just need, I mean, I've been fortunate to always have a mentor, and that's actually helped me, because if you know who you are, you know, you can do a lot. Yeah, you've got to be sure about who you are. And there's hope for us as Black women. And, you know, I'm also a mother. I have a boy and a girl. Thankfully,
yes,
my son,
3 of us have got one boy and one girl.
yeah, you know, I'm so blessed. I just love young people, just love them. And Lanika and Kieran, they say Mum gets on my nerves all the time, but hey, you know what? I love them. So, and I just love people's children. They are our future. So let's invest in them and do the best that we can for them. So thank you again, Tracy. And I hope what I say tonight, it will be not only just a blessing, but also, you know, cater for some of the needs of the Black girls that are out there. Excellent. Okay, thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, okay. Pastor Mercy.
Yes,
Tracy. I know you've got so much on your heart that you would like to share. What is it how would you say we can support our Black girls?
You know, Tracy, what I wanted to do today, really, honestly, ever since you extended the invitation, there's a lot of things that have been going on in my mind. And actually today, what happened was I was having a mentorship session with 2 of the ladies who've just, you know, who've left prison and are being integrated back into the community. And one of the things that one of them brought up was an issue of having her girl child supported. And I thought, I mean, what are the odds that Tracy is hearing direct from heaven about this? And so I was practically working on this actual issue. You know, this afternoon, a lot of women who were incarcerated, and they are integrated back into the community, you know, accessing different services, but one of the things they cannot access is direct mentorship of their girl child. And so so I had a wonderful time this afternoon just getting hands-on on this actual subject that, you know, we're talking about. But you know what I wanted to do, Tracy, was I had a few things I wanted to talk about, but I'm going to just, because of time, I'm just going to concentrate on maybe just 3 of them, because, you know, the topic that we are discussing today is something that's very dear to my heart. And what I wanted to do was to, first of all, perhaps address the issue that's more important than anything else, is us supporting, you know, the Black girl. How do we support our Black girls? How do we support our Black girls? And what I wanted to talk about was being in the room. Being in the room is how I've sort of like been pacing the conversation and in my head and trying to figure out, how can we be in the room with our Black girls? How do we support our Black girls? And for me, Tracy, being in the room is being present. Being in the room is being where the decisions for our Black girls are being made. Being in the room is occupying those seats of influence where the future of our girls is being made. And being in the room is being there when they're going through their challenges, is seeing the tears, is being there when the trauma is happening, is being there when the challenges of life are happening. Being in the room is when she falls pregnant and she's still in high school. Being in the room is being there when the hard things of life are happening. And I think our girls are going through such difficult times, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because every milestone that they go through, we want to be in the room. everything that they're going through, we want to be in the room. But if we just, perhaps allow ourselves as women, as mothers, as aunties, as mentors, to know how to strategically position ourselves in order to support the girls. So one of the things I want to talk about, I've got three things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the baggage. Then I want to talk about the mental well-being of the Black girls, and then maybe if we've got time, I want to talk about the racial disparities there are for our girl child and for the girls. Tracy, for me as a Black woman, as a Black mother with a 23-year-old daughter, as a Black mother, as a woman who advocates for the well-being of the girl child, what I want to really perhaps touch on is the baggage, the baggage that I carry, the baggage that we carry as women that limits the level of support that we can give to the Black girl. There is a level of transparency and honesty that we need to create, and that I actually demand of myself in order for me to have a seat, at the table with a Black girl. There's a level of transparency that I must have. There's a level of transparency I must allow myself in order for me to sit at the table with the girl child. We don't have the right, Tracy, to speak into the Black girls' lives if we are not going to be transparent ourselves. That's why I called it the baggage that we carry. So that's sort of like my starting point, Tracy, to be real, to talk about, what really matters and what the Black girl is looking at. She's looking at the woman who seems like she's got it together, but she's bleeding. So the Black girl is looking at a woman who seems as if, she's got it together, but actually the Black woman is bleeding. So how do I, as a bleeding Black woman, support the girl? Unless we address those issues that are sort of the starting point in order for us to clearly support, the Black girl. And so it's things that I feel we are perpetuating a stereotype by being these strong Black women, being very strong Black women. And we need to change the narrative. We need to change the narrative of strong Black women. We need to change the persona that Black don't crack. We need to change the persona of the superwoman syndrome. And once we change that, and the Black girl who is cracking inside is looking at us as if we are polished, we are the finished product, and yet we are work in progress. So it's a Black girl is in a dark place, but she's looking at Mercy and thinks, how would this woman understand where I am? Because she looks like she's got it together. She looks like she's got everything, together, and she looks like superwoman. And you know what? There are some good positive aspects about being a strong Black woman, but I think that what keeps on bothering me is that we keep on keeping on as Black women as if we've got it together. And this is the same picture that we are showing our girl child and our Black girls, is that, listen, no matter how much you're bleeding, keep it together.
Keep going on.
So she's never seen me bleeding. How will she understand when she's hemorrhaging? How will I? She looks at me, she thinks, I've never seen her cry. I've never seen her bleeding. And yet here I am. I'm broken. I'm broken inside. How will this woman understand me? And so this is a journey that I've had to walk with my own daughter for me to make myself be in the room, being available, being transparent. And transparency is a right our Black girls have. of our lives. If we want to make any progress whatsoever in the lives of the Black girl, we need to be transparent. They need to see our scars. They need to see where we went wrong so they can fix it. Not fix us, but fix the situation so that they are not having to go through what we have gone through. And so being in the room, I had to learn as a mother how to not be because I was being so transparent. I had to do away with being a helicopter mom. Now, I was a helicopter mom. I really was, honestly. And my daughter is 23 now. And I thank God of the journey that I've watched her walk, the journey I've seen her. And I really learned a lot from her about this, because behind the transparency and everything else, I got to understand and realize that there's a whole lot of things that the Black girl needs to understand about the Black woman who is coming alongside her to mentor her, to coach her, to encourage her, to pastor her. Who is this woman who is coming to pastor me? Who is this woman who is coming to mentor me? Who is she? Does she bleed? Is she real? Is she flesh and blood? But because we have the superwoman persona that we have shown the world, we have blocked access to supporting the Black girl. And so that was my issue number one. Number two, I wanted to touch quickly on the well-being and the mental well-being, emotional well-being. I'm not a mental practitioner or professional myself, but I do come across a lot of girls who are going through challenges, and I've gone through it myself with because I'm not going to talk about things I haven't gone through, Tracy. I think textbook experiences are very challenging for the world to understand us. I think when we are sincere and we are showing the world what we have gone through, so that they can understand that no, Dr. Mercy, she cracks. There are times, Tracy, I would sit and I'll think, what to do now? It's not every single day that, no matter how Holy Ghost filled I am, tongue talking, Bible carrying, devil bashing, my God, in the whole lot, I still crack because I'm human. And that's the side of accountability. That's the side of sincerity. That's the side that we need to let our Black girls see, so that they can understand that we get them. You can't tell me you get me when you haven't gone through certain things and you haven't shown me that you understand where I am. So I'll touch a little bit on the well-being of the Black girl. Maybe I'll give a bit of opportunity to Jackie, unless if you want me to carry on.
Yeah, we'll come back to you, because I think you've touched on so many things. So I will let Jackie share, because I'm sure Jackie's heart is ready to.
No,
Thank you, Mercy. Everything you said there was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And I mean, I have to echo so much of what you said. I before I even came on to this, I actually spoke to a couple of girls, because I have spoken to a lot of women over the years and mentored them as best as I can, coming from a mentoring side myself. But one of the things you said in terms of like transparency, it's so important. We've got to make sure that we create a safe environment for our Black girls to come and feel that they can speak to us about anything. It's a two-way exchange. If we create a dialogue that goes backwards and forwards, and also there's no judgment, you know, if we look back, judgment is one of these things. I mean, I was even talking to my daughter the other day, and she, there's some things that, we've gone through together. And I said, well, what, what's allowed you to come and want to talk to me about so many different things? And she said, Mum, you've given me the opportunity and you've given me the space to actually be open and to be honest, because that's what you've taught us. So I think it's about creating that safe space, that interaction, knowing at the end of the day, and like Mercy says, it's about being honest. It's basically talking about the experiences that you've been through, because I'm of this opinion that nobody can take me anywhere unless you've been there yourself.
Indeed.
Yeah, you understand? If you've been walking a certain walk, I will listen to you. But but when these young people are going through their various issues in life and everything, we have to sit down and we have to listen. We have to understand that everybody is different and everybody's got their own walk to walk, and there should be no judgment at all in there. And if they can see that we're being genuine and we want to be supportive, then they will more than likely open up, because they are looking for role models. They're looking for somebody that they can talk to. And Mercy talks a little bit about the mental health well-being. We as women, just normally, we like to talk. We like to talk. We like to get it off our chest.
Yes.
We don't want to harbor things, and then we start crying, and then but what we want to do, we want to get we want to get things off our chest, and we want to talk it through, even more so knowing that you've got somebody that you can actually talk to. And like Mercy said, if you just walk around like nothing bothers you and nothing, there's times we cry. There's times we're just like, you have to allow our Black girls to see us crying, to actually see when we're actually down, and actually see when sometimes we got to put down God for 5 minutes, because we got to deal with a situation, we come back to him. So it's all of these things and more. And I think if we get to that point where there's no judgment, patience, understanding that even when they do fall down, we're still going to be there to lift them up. But for the grace of God, certain things has happened to us, and thank God somebody was there for us. You know what I'm saying? So I think we have to make sure that we're not judgmental, be honest, be transparent, be clear, be truthful, talk about the good and the bad that you went through, and let them know at the end of the day, I made it through. Rather than allowing them to feel like they're just going through this. And when there isn't an open door, and when there isn't a safe space, they will find a safe space. They will find somebody to go to. Yeah. So it's important for us to open up. And I also feel, especially within my remit, sometimes when I'm talking to individuals, I haven't got the answers to everything, but we need to research. We need to find agencies that can assist them. We need to help them along the journey and mentor them through that process, checking in on them, encouraging them, and letting them know that we do care and genuinely care that they're actually going to make it through. Because if we just sit down and just allow them to go through things or whatever, we're not being honest with them, and we're just leaving them to their own devices. I have to go back to the point when I was, when I became a mom, and I went to my mom, I had to go to my mom, hubby was there. Yeah. You done your job. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there were some things that I couldn't go to him for. I had to go to my mom. Yeah. And when I sat down and spoke with mom about certain things and what, I said, and she was able to impart certain things to me, it helped me to understand what motherhood is all about. So we just need to be open and honest, open the door to them. You understand? Let them know that, what, I did go through this. Yes, this did happen to me. And because when they see that, they'll learn to trust you. Yes. Yeah, trust for me isn't, and respect doesn't just come just overnight. You have to earn that trust, and you have to earn that respect. Not simply because I'm older and whatever, because there's a lot of irresponsibles over 21. But when you can get into the mindset of someone and you go in with a genuine attitude, they will draw to you. And that's what we need to basically do. And with the power of the Holy Spirit and, all that we have, Holy Ghost filled and whatever, we should be able to discern as well. The Bible tells you straight that we as the older ones, we are to teach the younger ones as well. But at the same time, we have to be wise. And it's not everything that, you have to open up your mouth and talk and everything. Sometimes also you have to close your mouth and listen to what God is basically saying to you at the same time. So create that space and let them feel safe. And then when they see that in you, they will know by your character whether or not this is a nice person I want to talk to or not, or whether or not this is a genuine person. And trust me, nowadays, these young people, they know if you're fake and if you're not.
Yes.
It's a fact.
Thank you so much. That's brilliant. So listening to the two of you, I've got so many questions buzzing in my head. The first one I'm going to get out is, do you think as Black mums that we treat our boys differently to the way we treat our girls? Do you think we're as loving as we are to our boys to our girls? What do you think?
Do you want to take that, Mercy?
Big generalization. I know it's a big generalization, but what do you think as a whole? Do you think we're more loving to our boys, we're more lenient, or they can go out and our girls stay in the house, cook, clean, wash?
Oh, it's you, Mercy.
Tracy, I don't think you can measure it in that way, where there is more love towards the Black girl, or as compared to the Black boy. I think the challenges they go through are very different. I think the dynamics of being a Black girl, and watching your strong Black mother handle certain things and do certain things and have this superwoman persona, automatically there is a girl that is created inside of her, where she thinks she has to be that. And so you find sometimes as a mom, you end up wanting to protect her because you haven't been vulnerable enough in her life for her to see that actually, as a woman, it's okay for me to say I don't have it all together. But as for a boy child, I think for especially Black boys, I think we have we have enough support system for the boy child, for us to call on an uncle, to call on a pastor, to call on a brother, and kind of like get them into a man cave and get that sorted. Girls don't have a girl cave.
Oh.
This is why Black girls are, there's a dramatic rise in Black girl teens who are, depressed. They are committing suicide and abuse, and they are being abused. It's because there is no safe space for a girl child. I say that because a girl child can be, living in the same house under the same roof with her perpetrator. There's no real cave and a safe space for a Black girl. And I'm not saying that a Black boy is cannot be abused and cannot be in a similar situation. Absolutely. But I think the makeup of how God created us has got the Black girl more in a very vulnerable state, first of all, because of her physical limitation. There are things a Black girl can do that a Black girl she can't do that a Black guy can do. A guy can walk in the street and run up and down the streets and do as if a Black girl does that. And because there's already a stereotype towards a Black girl, this is why I was saying, as Black mothers, as Black aunts, as Black, grandmothers, as Black women in leadership, we have a duty of transparency towards our Black girls. So I don't think you can measure it in that way, where there's more love towards the girl than the boy. I think the dynamics and the challenges that they go through, especially in seasons that we are in right now, are completely different. And so you find the way that we handle them has got to be different. This is why we need the wisdom of God, like Jackie said rightly. We need the wisdom of God to know what to do when we don't know what to do, because we don't have all the answers.
Yeah. And definitely so. I think growing up, these children, they come from the same womb and they come from the same place, but they're completely two different kettle of fish, two different characters. And obviously you see part of yourself in them and part of their fathers in them as well. But what do you have to do? It's not that you I wouldn't say I treat them overtly different. I think what I have done with my kids they've gotten to know me and they know what my standards are. They know what my expectations are. And for me, whereas I'm concerned, where I see Lanika in terms of, you know, my daughter, in terms of how she is as a woman, is very different to how I see my son. So I have to teach them, look at them individually. Not that I treat them indifferently, because I do believe holistically, I treat them the same, but there are different needs. And once you get to know how your child functions, because you see this mind, yeah, because what one child may think, the other child will not think the same way, you know. And I've come to realize that, yes, one likes chicken and one don't like fish, or the other one likes fish, the other one likes chicken, etc., etc. So they are different, and you have to treat them in a slightly different way. Society will want to put children, Black boys, in a certain box. They would like to put Black girls in a certain box. But I think what we teach them specifically, even at home and in their environment and where they are, it's a constant learning. It's actually them opening up. And once they get to know you as a parent, there are certain things you don't have to worry about too much, because you know they will go out, and we've always got our hearts in our basically in our hands, thinking, oh my God, are they going to come home safe? Are they going to be coming home? Certain things. But I always say we need to let them know you got to make the right choices. And yes, they are different. They have different needs, and they're going to have different experiences. And like you said, Tracy, it is, where would I allow my son to go away to Snowdon or go onto the mountaintop, or would I allow my daughter to go? Do you know what I'm saying? I would have to look at them individually. You can't get away from that, because they are completely different in every sense of the word. Yeah.
Brilliant. So what about, we talk about emotions. Would you say that the only emotion as a Black woman that we teach our Black girls is anger? In terms of being open and honest, do you say that that's the main emotion that that we're free with, or that we're open with, is anger? Because for some strange reason, we're always stigmatized as the angry Black woman. What would you say?
Ooh, angry Black woman. I think that's a stereotype in every sense of the word. And I think, like Mercy said, that narrative needs to change. I think the way in which we are culturally will assume that we are quite angry in our perceptions and how we deal with things, but we're not angry. It's just that we just deal with things in a we're sociable people. We're very emotive people. We get wound up about certain things. We very socially interactive with individuals. So I don't think that stereotype is something that's basically out there, which I really don't even know where it's come from, if I'm honest. I don't think so. I don't think we do teach I think we ask them to be assertive. There's a difference between angry and being assertive. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I saw a video today of these.
Sorry, Mercy was saying something.
Mercy, sorry, darling.
Yeah.
I was going to just answer that and contribute, and just say that our Black girls are watching us. We may not necessarily be teaching them how to respond to a crisis, how to respond to life, how to respond to racism. We don't have a textbook that we are showing them or giving them to read, but what's happening is they are reading our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our lives are an open book, an epistle, and they are reading from our experiences and how we handle stuff. So the Black girl wants to succeed. The Black girl wants to do well in school. The Black girl wants to excel. But she's looking into the life of Mercy. She's looking at Tracy. She's looking at Jackie to see, so how do these women, how do they handle success?
Yes.
How do they handle pressure? How do they handle pressure? How do they handle things that are affecting us right now as a Black girl? How do they handle the well-being, the mental well-being? How do they handle, issues that have to do with racism? How do they handle that? And so we may not necessarily be teaching them as what we say, but our lives are teaching our girls. Every minute, every second that we wake up, we are teaching somebody something. And so they are looking at us, and they're looking at us. How do we handle our finances? How are we as mothers? If your daughter wants to know how to be a mother, she's going to look at you, Tracy, and say, I think this is how it's to be a mother. Myself as an example is that when I was growing up, the only woman I knew who could teach me about being a mother was my mother and my grandmother. I looked at them. I looked at how they handled situation. And when I was growing up, everything that we did, every answer to every problem was prayer. And so you would find anything and everything that had to do, simplest of things was prayer. The answer was prayer. But life has changed for our children. So you find that, I'm not saying we shouldn't pray. I think it's good to pray. I think for me, it's almost like a default setting. That's where I go to. That's my safety. That's my first place of call. But guess what? After we have prayed, mommy, after you have spoken in tongues of angels and men, after you people have been slain in the spirit, mommy, you need to get up and be a mentor and direct and instruct the girl. So it's got a lot to do with how are we handling life. Are we handling life in a way that the girl child is saying, yeah, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. So so that's what I believe, that it's not necessarily about the things that we say, because talk is cheap. Anyone can say anything. But when they put a microscope on our lives and they look through the view mirror to see where we've come from, and they look where we are going, do they want to emulate us? Does the Black girl want to become like Tsitsi Mercy? Or is the Black girl looking and say, I will not go there?
Yeah. I think that is so important, because I think, my dad always taught me this. Sometimes it's not always the things that you say, it's the things that you do. So one of the things we should be doing, we need to be empowering them and giving them responsibilities. How do we support them? It's not just by talking, or by basically, yes, we have to talk, but there's a time where basically you need to stop talking, and we need to begin to empower them, begin to give them responsibilities, begin to trust them, begin to let them know that, you know what, you need to set goals for yourself. You need to know who are, the most important thing is look in the mirror. Who are you?
Yes.
Because I think at the end of the day, we can say so much to a child, and sometimes we want them to succeed, and we want them to do this, and we want them to do that. But we've got to make sure that we're actually thinking about what they want to do and where do they want to go in life. And, if the truth be told, there are so many Black girls who sit down and think, oh my God, if I do this, my mum might be upset, or if I do this, my dad might be upset, etc. And that pressure is sometimes too much, and they fail in that, So I think it's important for us to empower and let them be as well, allow them sit down and get to know what it is that's inside of them and what are their goals. It's also about acceptance of themselves. Do we as Black women accept who we are? And like Mercy said, do we walk around and walk, oh, everything's okay. We get to the front door, we've been crying coming down the street or driving our car, and then we get to the door. Okay. Do you understand? Sometimes we have to come in and allow them to see us crying. The bill's coming in. I'm just tired. I just need to just go and lie down. I need to cry. We need to do that. We're supporting them and actually showing them that just be real. Because sometimes we're not basically real with them, and allow them to see the other side to us. Because yes, they will see this side. Yeah, mummy's doing this, mummy's doing that. But it's so important for us just to be genuine, just to be who we are, and let them see the transparency and the realness of what it is to be in this world. Because life is hard. It's really, really hard. And we have to support them. Sometimes, yes, we're caring and we're doing all those things, but sometimes we have to just let them go, make their own mistakes, as well, but be there to lovingly bring them back into the fold and be there to kind of like guide them and leave them. You know, if they want to go to the party that night, as hard as that is, you know, they want to do all of these stuff, but you know what? Sometimes just need to let them go because they have to learn from their own mistakes as well. Yeah.
Thank you. So I was thinking about words and words that are associated with Black girls and words that you never tend to see associated with Black girls. And I was looking at words like meek, gentle, soft, caring. And for some strange reason, when we look at society, those are not the words that they tend to associate with our Black girls. They tend to put things like hard, angry, aggressive, vicious. Yeah. So where do you think this is coming from? Where would you think these are all coming from, stemming from?
Well, for me, there has to be, I think just women in general, we are known to be nurturers. You know, we're there to be caring, to be supportive. We're there to, you know, as it were, to be women, as it were. We know if a man's looking for a wife or he's looking for a girlfriend or whatever, he's expecting those kind of things. But I think over the years, what has happened is because of the stereotype of a lot of us as women, we have had to take on, you know, the role of being a man, as it were. And to tell the truth, I always believe that there's defined roles. Yeah, there's defined roles. What a woman can do and what a man can do are completely two different things. And there are some overlaps. But for me, these stereotypes are coming from what's outside. Everything is changing. You know, the media says the woman must do this, the woman must do that. You know, I'm quite old-fashioned in my ways because I still believe that there are still some things that a man should be left to do in terms of like his roles and his responsibility. And that goes back from the beginning of time. But I think when a woman wants to suddenly turn around, you know, these girls are looking like they have to be hard and tough. I mean, sometimes when I go into schools and I'm walking down the road and I see these girls, they look like, you know, I don't know where I should say this on, but they just,
I know what you're talking about.
I have to be careful what I say, you know, but I'm just like, understand? So I think the stereotypes out there are actually allowing them. You have, and social media does a lot to define how Black girls actually carry themselves and who they really, really are. So it's a difficult one, and you know we're on YouTube, so hey. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I personally think that our Black girls are under a lot of pressure. I think that there are structures and systems that are in place that have put chains on our girls and have demanded that our Black girls have to double prove themselves in order to qualify. And so when a Black girl looks at herself and knows that at home she's being told, you can do it, you're awesome, you're amazing. But when she comes into a structure of maybe an educational facility, or it may be a church setting, maybe the narrative there has slightly been distorted because of the experiences that she sees her counterparts of the other color are experiencing. And so you find that the Black girl has to almost look angry, look like you come near me, I'll cut you up. But actually, she's not like that at all. She's not like that. She's putting that persona because she has to prove herself. And it's all these, it's the structures, it's the systems that are in place that have made our girls look like they need to prove themselves in order to qualify. And that's a shame, because I think that they are at that place because they don't see enough representation of the Black woman in those places where they can freely feel that I can be myself. The headmistress is white. The person who is in charge of department is white. The head girl is white. The prefects are white. She doesn't identify herself with the structures that are in place, and so I think it's very difficult for our Black girls at the moment, because I think that there isn't enough representation of the Black woman in places of authorities that can help and pave the way for the Black girl.
Absolutely.
I think we have a job to do for us to go out there and say, okay, you know what? In this institution, if there has never been a Black manager or a Black team leader, or even just, somebody who is in a position of authority who is Black, when a Black girl who is coming from university, or she's coming from college, or she's coming to do internship, when she looks at the structure of an organization and doesn't see representation of herself, she already gets into a place where she has to almost double prove herself that she's able. And I think that's unfortunate that those are some of the stereotypes that our Black girls are having to go through. And I think it's a shame.
And I think I think part of it as well is that I think being in certain circumstances and being a trustee for a couple of organizations, and what you said, Mercy, is right in a sense. And we have to, as older Black women, and teach also our younger women, because there are successful Black women out there, but they haven't necessarily always come to the forefront. Yes, we can look at and I will quote the Oprah Winfrey's. I was listening to Rihanna the other night talking about her being a Black woman, and she will forever be a Black woman, etc. And she's strong because that's what her mum taught her. And I think a lot of the work needs to be done with us as mothers, especially as mothers, to actually sit down and talk to our Black girls and let them know that they can do it, and they need to put themselves in positions, start applying for those top jobs. And, and even if you get let down 20 times, 30 times, etc., you keep going until you get there. Myself, I've, like I said, being part of these trustees, and I remember going to these meetings, and I was the only Black woman there. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it can do a lot to you, because you're just thinking, so do I suddenly just, do I just sort of filter out eventually, or do I still keep coming to these meetings? Because sometimes they're not listening to me. But there has to come a time where I will speak up and I will open my mouth. And you know what, when you do open your mouth, etc., so you've got to put yourself in positions of power. You've got to put yourself out there. You've got to start making the applications. And I think as we as Black women, we begin to push through the system, then what will happen then is that our, those who are coming up after us, our Black girls, will see, yes, you know what, this lady did it, so I can basically do it. So there's also this thing about educating individuals, educating our Black girls as well as our Black boys, that even though there is a lack of role models out there,
yes,
without a shadow of a doubt, but there are some very, very successful, and we need to start pushing them in that direction and educating. Sorry, who created the traffic lights? Do you understand? So it's about telling them about history and letting them, but unfortunately our schools don't tell us all of these things. Back in history, you go all the way back to the 1400s and the 1500s and whatever, people, Black people were in positions of power. What has actually happened over those years? And what we do, we stand back and we just allow our Caucasian brothers and sisters to kind of like push forward, when sometimes we just, not even sometimes, I think we all now to rise up and begin to be a little bit more powerful. But if we sit back and just keep allowing, sometimes we are making a lot of excuses. Oh, because I'm Black, I'm not going to do this. Put yourself out there, push yourself. And this is the thing that I want to do with a lot of Black girls is actually just keep pushing yourself. Don't give up. Just keep going. Keep going. You will break through, because the world is waiting for us. The world is waiting for us. And like Mercy said, yes, we may have it a little bit more harder. Sometimes I've been in meetings where I've had to really, really fight, but I make sure that my voice is heard because I'm an individual just like they are.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You two have made some absolutely excellent points. But I want to address Monica's point, because something that, I don't know, with my teacher head on, I observe this and I watch. And I think it's a spiritual thing. I think we've always got to remember that we are spirit, soul, and body. And we always have to remember that God put a man in a place for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for a covering. It's for a protection. And it's a support. And one thing I watch, and I love watching it, is some of the other cultures, how the father will be bringing his daughter to school. When school finishes, he'll be collecting his daughter. The girls in certain cultures are protected. They have a sort of covering. A boy knows, don't step to this girl because she has a father. Handle this girl wisely. Why? She has a father. You know, there might be something and the father is there to pick that child up. Or someone is there picking that child up. It might be school events. All the other nationality parents will be at the school gate lined up in their cars. Our children going home on the bus by themselves. Our children coming in the morning by themselves. Other nationalities dropping them off. There's a sense of they're protecting their children. I'm not saying we're not protecting our children. We are protecting our children. But you see it more in other nationalities. You see the presence of a father, the impact, the covering, the difference it makes in the lives of the young lady. Because she doesn't then, that fighting, that shell, that I have to be Wonder Woman, Superwoman, Hulk, you name the superheroes, it's like a black woman has to be all of those and more to make it in this life. Whereas you look at other nationalities, they women don't have to. They women don't have to be that. And they're still successful, they're still wives, they're still mothers. So there's something that is going on in the black community that is having a negative impact on our girls, but producing this almost, they're calling them man girls. You listen to a lot of the talk going on at the moment with a lot of the young black guys. They're wondering why the black girls are, having to be men, and I think it is the absence of the father. You might look at our Asian girls. The Asian girls don't have to be men. Why? Yeah. In their culture, the men are the men. You look at the Eastern European or other Mediterranean cultures, the men are there, being the men, being the father, being the protector. But somehow, I don't know what's happened with us, but, I don't see that there. And I'm saying, I'm just going to talk from what I see as a teacher, what I see at the school gate, what I see at school functions. I don't see our girls, having that same covering, that same protection, and that same nurturing, that same care, it's like vulnerability. They're still vulnerable. They're still children. They're still soft and need to be taken care of. But most of the times they're having to take care of somebody else. They're having to take care of the children because the mom's having to work 5, 6, 7 jobs. So this little girl who should be just a little girl has now had to step into the role of mom, cooking, cleaning, washing, looking after all the other, children. And I think that plays a significant role of our girls being so hard, being so tough, being so, because of life, where they've not had a chance to have that childhood and just sit down and play and be a girl and have, do all the things that other girls have had to do, because there was no dad. So mum has had to do this, and then she's had to step up and be mum at the age of 10. Looking at Monica, question, the absence of the father, I think, is partly responsible for that. I would say it is.
Yeah. I truly believe that. I do truly believe that a male responsibility to any female is important. Yeah, if you have whether or not it's your father, whether it's your uncle, whether it's a male that actually cares for her, you do see that it does do something for that black girl. And I think the economy, I saw a question down here, unfortunately, sometimes our culture in terms of our black men, they are put at a disadvantage because for whatever reason they are left out in the cold. We know that basically if there's a issue between the black man and the black woman, the man is put out at a disadvantage. He then has to fend for himself. Then sometimes he's fighting to see his children. There's so many different economies of scale that basically will impact upon them in them not being who they are in that black girl's life. So it's so important. There's a reason why you need a man and a woman to have a child. Yeah, so because they're both equally important.
Yes,
but unfortunately, everybody comes from different backgrounds and different ways of life. So sometimes there are some families, I hear it on the other side, well, what's the point of my dad also being there? You have that, and you also have the fact that basically daddy's not there, so I'm just going to get on with it, and that will actually impact upon that young girl. But I definitely believe that it cannot just be the woman who has an impact upon that black girl. She has to have some male presence in her life, whether it's her father, whether it's her uncles, whether it's her godfather or whatever. That is so, so important. I, for one, I grew up with my mum and my dad, and I saw the importance of it. I think about my dad every day, because of the relationship that I had. And and even when my dad passed on, God blessed me with somebody else as well, who became my adopted father, and I was able to feed into him, and he was very, very strong-minded. And to this day now, God has provided. He passed away last year, and last year, and now God has provided somebody else who's like my dad again. So I think it's so important for us to have that and encourage that. Mothers, don't keep your children, your girls, away from their fathers. Please, I implore you, as much as possible.
Yeah. Brilliant. I've got one question actually I really want to discuss, and it's the importance of marriage in the black community and the apparent breakdown of marriage in the black community. Do you think, if we look at, I'm going to use the Asian community again, from a very young age, their daughters know you're going to be married. It's not like a question mark. Do you think you're going to get married? Or, from a very young age, marriage is something that is discussed in the family. Now, I don't understand why, as black women, in terms of being single, we seem to be the highest percentage of singles in society, black women. So do you think we're discussing marriage enough or preparing our girls for marriage? Do you think we're speaking positively enough about relationships to our black girls? What would you say? Mercy.
I love that question, Tracy, because I come back to my original, one of the things I said in the very first few minutes when we started the program is to say our girls are watching our lives. They are looking at how we interact as human beings, first of all. They're looking at how we handle relationships. So regardless of us teaching them, the biggest teacher that they have and the largest voice of any type of schooling they have is our lives.
Yes.
So if our lives are showing a certain perception of marriage, our girls are most likely going to look at that and make a decision on their future plans based on what they are seeing. Now, I think there is not enough credit that is given to the woman who is a single parent. I don't think anybody goes into marriage with an intention of walking out. I think every woman goes into a marriage with the intention that she would like this to be for the long haul. I would love my children to see me, to see us as a family, as a complete family unit. But life happens. And when life happens, what usually is what I see out there is a lot of rhetoric that goes on regarding the single woman. I don't think there is enough credit being given to her, because she did not necessarily choose to be where she is. And many of the fathers who are in society, who are giving support to our girls, end up being uncles, our brothers, our fathers. Many grandfathers have taken on children as their own, given them their surnames. I certainly come from a background where grandfathers have given their daughters' children their surname because the man has been absent. And when it came to official things, the grandfather had to step in and act as the dad. So the man is looking at what her or his father is doing. He's looking, they read us like a book.
Yeah.
A man only knows how to treat a woman based on what they see their father doing. So when the father shows his son that this is how you treat a woman, this is how you respect a woman, this is how you provide for a woman, and this is what they are looking at our lives, and they are reading, and they are making a story out of that. And so when they then look at themselves later on, they look at okay, maybe things are not working out. What happened there? There was a story. There's a story behind it. So I think what's happening is we are missing the point that in the Asian community, there is a lot of mentorship from a very young age, where the father, really steps into the role, and you see him, with the son doing things and, opening businesses, mentoring him into how to do stuff. And I think the fault is not necessarily with the black man, because he's only doing what he saw his father do. So it has, the way we live our lives has a ripple effect from generation to generation. So that's why we then end up now where we are, where there's a lot of single parents. I don't want to just say single mothers, because there are some single fathers who are doing an absolutely amazing job looking after their children. But for the sake of the context of our conversation, many single mothers having to look after black girls, having to mentor, support, and provide for the black girl, when she goes out, what she is seeing in her mother is the father and the mother. So she's seeing the strong black woman. So when she goes out into the world, what's the next thing she's going to do? She's going to clone everything that her mother.
Oh, she's gone out. I think she's coming out. Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, just to carry
marriage
on.
No longer priority. Are we preparing our daughters for marriage?
No, I think that narrative does need to change, and a lot of it is coming from society as well. It is also, it is about what individuals are seeing, but I think it also goes back to the point that if you start talking about these things to these young children from a young age, we have to begin to educate them. And remember, it's not just about what's at home. It's also about what's going on in school. It's what actually they've been told. It's also about what's going on outside. And, these young people, they're always online. Yeah, if they want to find anything, Google it. Yeah, so they've also seen a lot of things, and they've been exposed to so much more than we could ever have been exposed to. And I sometimes feel sorry for them, because they're so confused. So somebody needs to, and that's why I always keep talking about creating this safe space.
Yes.
Talk to your child, talk to them, get to know them on a one-on-one stage. And also at the end of the day, live a life. Yeah. Talk about, yes, even if basically things have broken down or or whatever, even in any relationship, it wasn't always bad, because you know what, you created mum and dad created you. So there must have been some love there. So let's talk about the good times, talk about those things, and let them know that it's absolutely wonderful to be with a man. I think sometimes society really pulls down our black men and everything and put them in such they are so powerful. Sorry, I love black men. Yeah, fine, yeah. And I think sometimes if beside any man, if they find a really, really good woman, they will succeed. But society does not help, social media doesn't help, and then it's ricocheted through to our children, even on social media, that you don't need a man, you don't need this, you don't need that, etc. Even have a good friend. I mean, it's healthy. I say to my children all the time, listen, there's nothing wrong with talking to a guy. There's nothing wrong with talking to a girl. They go hand in hand, because everybody's got something to basically offer. So we have to make sure that we can basically, get in line. I just saw this message. How do we create a safe space? We create a space by going to them. Yeah, we have to go to them. Go in there and bother them and bother them and bother them. Sometimes I go in and I sit on my child's bed and she'd be like, Mum, why are you in here? Do you understand? Sometimes I'm just like, oh, where are you going tonight? Oh, can I come pick you up? I'm just down the road or whatever. Bother them, get into their faces, let them know that you care, let them know that, you know what, no matter where I go, my mum's going to be there, or my dad's going to make sure that he's going. They've also got to feel that, you know what, you're actually surrounding them, just like when they were in the womb. You were protecting them. We've got to offer them that protection. And and I know society sometimes makes us tired. We're working, we're doing all of these things, and sometimes we're neglecting our children because we got bills to pay, we got all those things. We got to find a time, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever. Even a devotional time, if it's once a week. This is our 5 minutes, this is our 15 minutes. We're gonna talk. You tell me what's going on. What have I done to hurt you this week? Do I shout too much? Am I this? And take it. Definitely. You take it and let them know that you're human, because we let them know that we're human as well. Yes. Love that comment as well. Get back to the dinner table. Do you know what I'm saying? They're upstairs watching a movie. Go upstairs and lie on the bed with them and watch that movie with them. If they're basically on their phone, what are you looking in your phone for? They'll hide the phone from you. You know what? And sometimes turn it back to them. Use reverse psychology on them. Do you understand? So that they can see, okay, mum, they've come in, they've gone upstairs to their bed. Do that to them one night. They'll be like, Mum, what's wrong? Oh, so don't you do? You see what it feels like now? Okay, then. And let them know at the end of the day that basically I'm human just like you. You understand? So that safe place is about being transparent and opening the door so that they, at the end of the day, can know that, you know what, mum's gone through it, dad's gone through it, etc. And we're going to just let them grow holistically. And I think when we stop being fake and stop trying to put this mask on, our children would realize that basically, you know what, I can do this, I can do it. Yeah, because the school system, love the school system. I work in the school system, but the school system isn't going to do all of it. It's
not everything, and we've got to stop thinking that the school can do everything. Those teachers are there to teach a subject or to deliver a curriculum. They're not there to raise your children, to mentor your children, to nurture your children.
Right.
We've been giving them too much to do.
Yes. And our children were given to us. Sorry to interrupt you there, Tracy. Those children, they weren't given to the school system. Yeah, we brought them. We brought them into the world, and sometimes we're going to have to make some sacrifices because they are our children. Do you understand? And just let these children know that, yes, I'm sacrificing this, but you know what? Just to make them a better person and an adult. And me personally, I do not believe that every single person should be a parent. That's just my opinion. Because sometimes it's my opinion and everything. You understand? I don't also believe that every single teacher needs to be a teacher. Do you understand? And that's just my opinion. Everybody don't beat me up because of it. If you're not maternal, don't have a child. If you're not maternal, if you don't really know how to give love, don't go and have a child. Yeah, because when you bring that child into it, that child is going to, they're innocent beings. They did not ask to be here. So
Do you
please, can we
say
just
that,
look after
Jackie?
them?
You think a lot of girls, we've got a lot of teenage pregnancies in the Black community. Do you think there's a lot of copycat going on?
I think so, because I think women in general as well, we're very, emotional beings. You know, I remember when I was growing up, I want to have 4 children. I want to have 6 children. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. They're so lovely. It's not until when I used to go and visit one of the church sisters, and I used to sit there and I used to see these kids just running right in the house. And I'd be like, really? Do I want this? Do you understand? Do I want these kids like being so crazy? And when you expose your children to those kind of things as well, but the longing in your heart, some people are very maternal, some people are not very, very maternal. Yeah, but it is within the high percentage of young people and young girls as well to want a child, because it's part of them and it's part of, we have a womb. Yeah, we have a womb, and we go out and we see, oh my God, this is beautiful, the excitement as well. But there's so much other things that comes after that. And it's the things that are after that we need to educate them about. Yes. Because it's a beautiful thing to bring a child into it. Everybody talks about it, and it's a beautiful thing. It's on their stereotype. They love it. I watch Real Housewives of Atlanta all the time, and you see all these babies, and you think, oh, this is wonderful. This is so wonderful. But it can be reality is different. Isn't it? Reality is different. So again, we have to teach them. But children never asked to be here. Black girls or Black boys did not ask to be here. But once they're here, let's just work with them and try to empower them and for them to be the best that they can be, rather than dysfunctional adults. Yeah.
I had a question, and I saw that Chelsea Carter Hamilton, she was in the spirit because she had the same thing that I was going to ask. I was going to say, do you think as Black women, we poison our girls' minds against Black men?
Yeah.
Based on our bad experiences.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and I think that's so wrong. Go ahead, Mercy. Go ahead.
I think that we are, again, I come back to this point where I think that our girls are reading us like a book. I think when we think they're not watching us, they're watching us. When we think they cannot hear what we're saying, they can hear us. So a lot of girls are learning about how their mother perceives certain things in life via social media. So she's watching you and seeing you at the full on social media and say things. You know how the social media is like now. It's open. So she knows if she goes on Facebook, she's gonna see her mommy saying some stuff about men and doing stuff, and so they are learning from our lives. And unfortunately, our lives are not telling a very good story to our children.
Yeah.
And definitely. So she's looking and thinking, okay, my mom is probably not saying anything about men being trash, but her life is showing that. So we may try to act very mature and very all together there and very collected, and we don't say these things. We don't have to say them. They just one look at you. She just has to see, and she can say, okay, this is where girls now look and they think, okay, when do I want to get married? And when I get married, who do I want to get married to? And so you are finding that there is a girl who is in the closet who you would never know until she goes to school and tells Miss Tracy that, ma'am, I think I am inclined to like girls of the same, the same gender, or a boy says that's because there are things that they have seen. They don't like it. They're not liking what they're saying. We are not being a great testimony to our children. The Black boy is not seeing how it is being, a confident Black man who is able to do certain things and able to scale the heights in career. But what he's seeing is something completely different. And the same thing with the Black girl. She sees a completely different picture from what we are saying. So I think that we have a problem. Absolutely. But we have we have the answers. We should be able to see the red flags. When the red flags are there, seek help. Seek help. Do away with the, I've got it together, superwoman thing. Seek help. Find the resources that can help. Find the institutions that can help your child. Expose your child to variety of support and help. And it's out there. It is out there. The only problem we have is this: we spiritualize a lot of things, and sometimes we become and then we neglect being the practical parent because we want to put the honors of how to raise a child just on the Bible bashing, and instead of actually opening that Bible and looking at it as a manual for our children. So the red flags are there. Seek help.
Seek help. And I think a lot, because we have grown up in church, and there are some things. Love the fact that he's taught us a lot about morals, he's taught us a lot about standards, but there is a part as well which like Mercy said, there are doctors, there are counselors, there are different people out there in particular agencies that we can refer to. And we need to expose ourselves to it. I mean, if we go back even to biblical times, the church, I think the church back in the day had so many different types of agencies. And, you had the lawyers, you had the professors, you had, there were so many different areas in the church which covered the holistic person. You understand? And yes, it's all right to turn around and say, oh, yes, go and pray about it. You're struggling with this, you're struggling with that. Oh, come on, we've heard that time and time again. But it doesn't, we want more than the prayer. You need to ask, we need to find answers. And because of that, we've lost a generation of people who, we weren't, whether or not it's because we weren't educated enough or basically, and I love my mothers and their fathers, but like I said, if you haven't been somewhere, then you can't really take us there. So now we are within the 21st century. Sorry, there is no excuse. There's so much resources out there. There's so much help out there. Sorry, Google it. We will find it. And once you're praying and you're trusting God, God will direct you to the right individuals and to the right person that would actually be able to help you. Because, we are powerful. Black girls are powerful. Black men, we are powerful human beings, but we got to spend that time to seek within our own self, have expectations for ourselves, and aim for the best. You know what? I always say this, and I say this to my children: we've got one life to pass through. This one life, let's not waste it. When we're born in 19 blah blah blah, I remember Pastor Brown preached this message. He said, what will that dash in the middle mean? What did you actually do within that time? Till when you actually part. We've got one life. Let's make the best of it. And if we can empower a Black girl, we can empower. I know tonight it's just about the girls, but if we can empower a Black young man, let us just basically do it and try our best just to help them create that bond that they can take on responsibilities and move on and be the best that they can be. They need support, and but teach them from young. We've got to teach them from young, and it's never too late. Go and undo some of the things that you taught them and apologize. Say, I'm sorry, I should have done this. I should have done this, and be vulnerable with them as well. Do you understand? Because there's some things that that we obviously have, like Mercy said, sorry, we've kind of like created this narrative, and we've created this is how it's supposed to be, but the reality is not true. So we do need to go back and make some apologies to our young people as well. Definitely.
Just to add on to what Jackie said, I love when you say that information is out there, Google it. I love that, because I think as Black women, we shouldn't wait for our children to get into a place of challenges and then we act. I think let's put ourselves out there. Let's put ourselves available. Let's make ourselves available. I don't think there is enough representation of women who are available. I think Black women are the most awesome, available, human beings that I know of. But what we are doing is we are clouding our availability to the young Black girl, because we are online competing with the Black girl. We are online competing for attention with the Black girl. Mothers are online doing crazy things, competing for attention with your child. So I think if we settle it in our hearts to say we have a mandate to occupy until he returns, but we will occupy with our girls by our side. We will facilitate, we will pave the way for the Black girl to be able to access support. I will pave the way for the Black girl to be able to start her own business. Pave the way for the Black girl to be able to get on the property ladder. Pave the way for the Black girl to be able to occupy positions of authority. Pave the way for the Black girl to be able to sit in those places where laws and rules and regulations are being made. Pave the way for the Black girl. I think we have a responsibility towards this generation to be able to put ourselves in positions where we can say, okay, I'm going to occupy that position for the sake of bringing a Black girl along with me. I think that in the corporate world, there isn't enough representation of Black women who can hold a girl by the hand and say, look, I'm a managing director in a blue chip company, and I'm looking for a Black girl to mentor. There isn't enough out there. I think we need to put ourselves in places where we are saying, okay, the Black girl is disadvantaged, but here I am, a Black woman in a position of authority. What can I do to the Black girl?
Excellent.
How can I hold her hand so that she doesn't have to go through, the challenges I went through to get to where I am? I think we are blessed by God to be a blessing to this generation. So we have to put ourselves out there. And I think this is a challenge. I'm always putting this challenge out to women who are in the corporate world, women who are in politics, women who are in the government, to say, if you are a woman who is in a position of authority, if you are a woman who is in the corridors of influence, if you are a woman who is on a board, find a Black girl that you can mentor, because guess what? Our white counterparts are doing exactly that.
Definitely.
The Asian people are looking for another Asian girl who can come and occupy that seat. Jewish people are doing that. What's happened to the Black woman? When we get into positions of authority, man, it is our duty to look for a Black girl and bring her up. I think we have been our ability to support has been distorted by the PH syndrome, pull her down syndrome.
Crab in a bucket.
Yeah, absolutely. You are in a position of authority. You have the ability. You sign the dots. You have the power, you have the authority to be able to bring about change, systematic changes that our girls are facing, racial systematic challenges and all those things that they're facing. They don't have to. If women of authority are in places that they can make decisions, the Bible talks, it says we don't fight against, flesh and blood. We're fighting against powers and principalities in high places. So why don't we go and occupy those high places so that there is enough light? And when a child of the Most High God is occupying the high place, surely there's got to be light.
That's right.
There's got to be light. So let's bring our girls. Let's bring them up. Let's nurture them to know that, look, that position that I'm in, you too can aspire to be that. That position of being a great mom, you too can become a great mom. This position of being, a great aunt, you too can become a great aunt. Let them read the good story. Let them read a good story from us. I think there isn't enough documentation of the successes of Black women that our girls are reading. They are reading a lot of successful stuff about other races, but they don't have enough success stories of the Black woman. And I think we need to change that narrative. And the only way we can change it is to own those publishing companies. Let's write our own stories.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Let's own them
definitely.
and write our own stories so that our Black girls can, can come up. I'm passionate about bringing a Black girl up and making sure that the gifting and the everything that's on the inside of her is brought out and not stifled because of institutional racism or whatever it may be.
Yeah, definitely so. And don't be threatened, by a younger girl coming in, and allow her to actually develop and to build up to the next level.
Yes.
Do you understand? Because what you've done is great, but leave, what legacy are we going to basically leave behind? Bring up that child. In fact, I have my daughter and I say to her all the time, what I've done, I want you to be greater.
Yes.
You understand? And I'm going to listen to your ideas and I'm going to listen to what you have to say as well, because you know what? You'll actually help me as well to grow. So I think we have to do it together and build up. And it's making me think I need to start writing a journal. Leave something that you can basically leave behind. You can basically pass on. Perhaps we need to create a group together, a women's group, so that young women can come in and be empowered. And because there isn't enough of that. And perhaps, coming off this tonight, I'm going to go online and find out whether or not there is a Black women's group that basically you can join and be a part of. So we can start to reach out to these young Black girls who are searching, and that they're not just basically just put into a little box and then just basically left, because Black women, just in general, we are powerful in our own right. But let's move it on from where it is right now, because it's not a good place at the moment. It's not a good place. And Black girls, they need a lot of support. They need mentorship. They need direction. They need self-empowerment. They need the esteem to be spoken into. They need that that encouragement from the right sources. Absolutely. They need to know where to go. There's so many different, coupled with prayer. And if you're doing all of that, at the end of the day, then basically, you'll have a vibrant set of Black young girls who are coming forward into society to train the next generation who are basically coming up again. And it's a cycle all the time. But we've got
cycle of success. That's what we want.
Cycle of success. Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah,
that's it.
And be that role model, because it's we're talking about it now, but it's a serious thing that we need to basically do and cultivate. Perhaps we do need to just find a whole lot of successful Black women out there and begin to run a campaign that we can basically get these Black girls, that they know that they can call us up, or and then know that they can come somewhere and be mentored. Yeah, because there are powerful, I know for myself, I know there are Black powerful women out there, but if you're doing it on your own, collectively you can do it. But when you're just doing it on your own, it's not always going to be as effective. And
that's it. Coming together as Black people. We always seem to go round, come back to this one point. Coming together as Black people. That's
another subject.
Oh, another night, because we go way. But I think we've ended on a good note.
This has been a wonderful discussion.
It has been.
Coming together for our children, coming together for our women, coming together for our men. And when we do that, we will be a force to be reckoned with.
That's right. Right.
We were able to build those pyramids back in the day without cranes, without architects, without building regulations, you name it. We were able to do that. Remember that?
Yeah.
What could we do today? Come on now. So we've got to remember, I think one of you said, I think it was Jackie or Mercy, where we came from. Remember that.
Yeah.
Remember that greatness that is within all of us, because we're God's children.
That's right.
And
that's right.
The sky, the universe is the limit. And that's just where we've got to go. So I'm
and look and see the good, and always try our best to see the good in our girls. See the good. Even when they are fallen short, even we've all been there, we've fallen short. But you know what? Please, let us see the good, regardless of everything. A child may come into you, or I work in education. Sometimes this child comes in and oh my gosh, but you got to look beyond that and see the good in them and mentor them, empower them, because you know what? They will always remember you. Yeah, it's not always like what Mercy said that you see. It's what you did for that person and how you made them feel.
Yeah.
And God help us that we may also just be transparent. Let's allow our girls to see us in a certain. It's okay for us not to have it all together. It's okay for us. It's okay for them to see that mom is bleeding right now. She needs to see us bleed so that she may be able to show me when she starts hemorrhaging herself. And so I'm done with the superwoman persona. I'm done with this, a strong black woman. No. I'm a strong child of the Most High God. But this strong black woman thing, it creates a barrier between what our children ought to be and where we are. So God,
I think it's destroying us as women as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And love our men. Love our, love our brothers, our uncle, love our
Let's
men,
not forget
and
to
embrace
love
them.
Our men.
Yes.
Because without that, we'll have no more black children.
We'll have no more black girls. And
I think it would also be good for our men to have sessions like these where they can talk. There's a lot of platforms for women. This is why you see there's a lot of women who are excelling, whether it be in the corporate world, whether it be in the church, whether it be politics. Women are excelling because we have access to conversations like these. God help our men to also have these conversations. Let them also sit down and talk about the realities of life. It's okay to talk about what you're getting wrong. This is what this conversation is about. We're not even talking about successes here. We're talking about all the things that we messed up. All the things that we didn't get right. All the things that we just didn't do right. And that's okay. And that's okay. So maybe our men need to be a little bit more vulnerable. Let our boys be able to see that actually it's okay for me to mess up, and I fixed it this way. Show them by way of demonstrating a life. So it would be lovely to see the men have these types of conversations too.
Definitely. We'll have a men's one like this then, Tracy. All right.
You missed the Father's Day one. Go back on YouTube and look at it.
I will.
And I'm gonna love you guys and leave you guys. Hear me, I'm gonna love you and leave you. I'm gonna thank you guys.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
And Dr. Jackie, I'm giving you that.
Absolutely amazing.
You have been fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I've enjoyed it. So much knowledge, so much wisdom. You guys are just amazing. Now, that's why I have such amazing friends. Why? You've been amazing.
Well, you are amazing, Tracy, because you had to hear direct from God in order to have this discussion. You honored what God pushed you to do. And kudos to you. You've done.
That's right. Amen to that. Amen to that.
Thank you for stepping up.
Thank you, darling. Amen. Thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you for everyone who watched live and they're still watching, and their comments. I mean, it was longer than normal, but it was good. It was good stuff. So just thank you everybody. I'll be back again in 2 weeks' time. So just watch this space for our next talk in Setup. So
and I would say if there's any further questions, Tracy, and anything, people are welcome to email. Is that okay?
Yes. I mean, you guys feel free, Jackie, to give any email address if people want to contact you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I can give. Are you gonna type it out?
Actually, you know what? If people have questions, they can put it on Set Up for Success, and Jackie and Dr. Mercy will be there.
We'll respond.
We'll respond.
Any more questions? Any more comments? Please feel free, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I know you've got family, businesses, and everything, but God bless you both. It's been and for everybody watching as well, thank you for your time, your energy, your questions. God bless you all. Thank you so much and good night.
Night. All right. Thank you so much, Tracy. Good night, Dr. Mercy. Nice meeting you.
Good night, Jackie.
Bye.
Good night, Tracy.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.